Hello, everyone. Beautiful existence here at this amazing labyrinth, the stone labyrinth on Bainbridge Island in Washington State. And this video is about an upcoming celestial event, and it was a known omen in ancient times, which has largely been lost. And that I actually have been channeling and receiving from Saturn for the last week to help everybody see that there are modern omens, that they will influence us individually and collectively, depending on the celestial or the plant or the nature or the animal or the element or the weather. And also if it's more towards an individual or more towards a social, energetic frequency. But this next Saturn omen that is coming up is a very significant one. And it's one, like I said, that's been lost, but it's going to come up in 2025, and it hasn't come up for quite a while. So I've done some research on this, and let's get into helping you understand what nobody else is talking about right now. So what is this big Saturn omen that is going to happen in 2025? Well, Saturn's rings are going to become invisible. In fact, it starts in March of 2025, and then the rings can slightly be seen over the summer for a couple of months with a high-powered telescope, and then they go invisible again for a while in November of 2025. The last time, now this is a cycle, and it happens every 13 to 16 years. So think back to what happened in your personal life or what happened in societies back in 2009 or in 1995. And this is going to give you an indicator of what this omen means when Saturn's rings become invisible. So just like this labyrinth and this portal that it creates, this is an appropriate spot for me to talk about Saturn's rings disappearing and the ring plane that they go into, because normally we can see Saturn's rings because of the reflection and the tilt of Saturn against the sun. But when they go into this ring plane every 13 to 16 years, they become completely within the invisibility range of even high-powered telescopes down here on Earth. This ring plane makes them invisible, absolutely, at least to the naked eye, which has ramifications on the energies down here. Now, receiving these omens is something that I have been participating with and actively practicing, specifically through Omens, since 2020. But really, I've been participating and practicing with Omens all of this lifetime and many lifetimes. So I have been cultivating a communication with the celestials, and Saturn is one of my prominent planets in my birth chart. And in fact, I lived on my Saturn astrocartography line on the East Coast for 3 years in this lifetime. So the first thing that I channeled was the awareness of Saturn, and that Saturn was speaking to me. But what Saturn showed me is that when the rings go invisible in these cycles, it has a direct correlation to us down here, because his rings, or her rings, are equated to boundaries, and which means materiality and our reality. So what I was shown at first is that Saturn's invisible rings distorts reality for us down here. Reality becomes thinner veiled, and more things can go through and or be distorted, because a firm sense of reality is being invisible with the planet that holds and has these rings of these major frequencies that affect us down here on Earth. So the second thing that Saturn showed me in this channeling is that the power of the rings the power that we lose down here on reality, on materiality, when the rings go invisible. We've known for a long time that Saturn has 7 major areas of its rings and 14 gaps within those. But upon closer inspection, they now know that there's thousands of rings within those 7 major rings, and they have attributed a lot of those gaps to Saturn's moons. Saturn has over 146 moons, more moons than any planet in our system. And so when those rings are equated to something else that we can, think of a commonality between, which is a record, and a record's groove. And a normal 12-inch record has at least 420 grooves on both sides. And that is what is becoming invisible to us for the majority of 2025. That's why reality can get distorted, and it's not going to be able to be such a firm grounding of reality, of materiality during 2025 because of those frequencies that Saturn holds, thousands and thousands of them, and how that effect is going invisible down here on Earth. Saturn's rings have been known for many civilizations as keepers of boundaries. And those boundaries are frequencies, they're energetic frequencies. And like I said, what I was shown from Saturn is that it's equated to like a record and record frequencies. So if you turn that record so that it's just paper thin and you can't see it and all those frequencies go away, that's like what is happening on Earth in 2025 for us. So just like the rings going invisible every 13 to 16 years, remember back to 2009, 1995. This won't happen again until 2038 to 2039. But the opposite is true too, because in 2032, Saturn's rings will be the brightest for us, which means that that material density is going to be felt the strongest in 2032. And we're losing it right now. Just like the cycles of the planets going invisible has a direct impact on our energies down here, so too do Saturn's rings, the multitudes of Saturn's rings that hold different frequencies for us, having to do with time and reality, just like this labyrinth behind me and the astral traveling and the abilities of the portal that you can create within these sacred instruments on the earth, within us, and up in the skies with the celestials. So that is what I have channeled this last week. You're going to probably hear more and more about it, but this is what you can look forward to with my upcoming book this fall, winter of 2024, As the Universe, So the Soul, Everyday Omens and What They Mean. So from here on the Labyrinth at Bainbridge Island, I picked the perfect spot to be able to come and do this video for you about what Saturn's ring cycles mean energetically for us and what these modern omens can teach us about living everyday lives with ancient wisdoms. Thank you for being here.